The winter season is almost upon us, and there's a lot to cover when it talks about winter, believe it or not. So let's just go ahead and dive right in on this week's episode of Emily Explains. First and foremost, you probably hear us talk about two different types of winters that we typically see. Well, first, we have meteorological winter. That's going to occur December the 1st until February 28th or 29th, depending on if it's a leap year or not. That's what follows the calendar. That's the 3 coldest months that we typically see within a year's span. So we're talking about the climate patterns when it comes to meteorological winter. We have astronomical winter, which is just your good old season of winter. That's when the first official winter day begins, and that looks to occur on December the 21st this year. It's going to last all the way until about March the 20th. Now, this is based on the position of Earth that is relative to the sun. So Earth's tilt is about 23.5 degrees. If we did not have the tilt of the Earth, then we actually wouldn't be experiencing seasons, the different types of seasons that we see. So here's your winter solstice, here's your sun. Winter solstice usually occurs around December the 21st or the 22nd. It varies each and every year. All seasons, we're going to be tilted at 23.5 degrees, so that never changes. And of course, you go through the different seasons. You've got fall, summer, and of course, spring. So the equinox versus the solstice. You hear us talk about two different types of those as well. The equinox is where we have an equal amount of daylight and darkness versus a solstice, which is what winter is going to be. That's the change of the length of the daylight and the darkness. So let's go ahead and zoom things in just a little bit, talk a little bit more about the winter solstice specifically. This is when Earth's axis is going to be tilted away from the sun. This is going to be the shortest day and the longest night, so we'll have a shorter amount of daylight, a longer amount of darkness in the northern hemisphere on winter, the first day of winter. Now, NOAA, which is the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, they release different types of outlooks every season, and this is the winter outlook. So if we're talking about a temperature basis, it does have us in the above average category, so trending a little warmer than usual when it comes to our temperatures. Now, if we swap things over and look at it from a precipitation perspective, it has us kind of on the normal range, with some of us seeing just a little bit of a drier condition than we typically see, but it's not a whole lot to be concerned about. Now, I'm going to step off of the screen so you can get a bigger idea of what these graphics are behind me, because we're going to be talking about winter warming. This is our average temperature here in Huntsville. So the average temperature just within the winter seasons has grown to about 4.8 degrees since 1970. We're also seeing more warm winter days. This is where we spend days above our normal average high temperature. So since 1970, we've seen about 15 more winter days than we typically do. Here's what warming looks like all across the United States since 1970. Notice how we're seeing those darker shades of red. That's indication of some locations seeing about 6 degrees above average. And it looks like the warming trend seems to be the most here in the southeast. So I hope you enjoy the first day of winter. I know winter usually means snow for some of you if we're talking about winter. And the good news is I'm going to be telling you just exactly how snow forms. In my next episode of Emily Explains, we're going to be talking about the different winter weather hazards. Part 2. Stick around. I'm meteorologist meteorologist Emily Owen. If you've ever wondered why hurricanes spin the way they do, if you've ever asked how fireworks get their colorful sparkle, if you've ever wanted to know more about the weather around you, then you'll love Emily Explains. I take your weather wonders and I give you the answers to those questions and some facts you may not have ever considered. It's a new digital-only series, and it's on every Monday at 7 p.m. right here on Fox 54 Plus.